Ever wondered how web application firewalls work and how they can be bypassed? Today, we dive into the fascinating world of WAF detection and bypass techniques. Picture a digital gatekeeper, tirelessly safeguarding your web applications from malicious threats. That's what a web application firewall, or WAF, does. But as with any security system, there are ways to sneak past. Intriguing, isn't it? Stay tuned as we unravel the complexities of WAF detection and bypass techniques. WAF detection, an integral part of cybersecurity, involves identifying the presence of a firewall in a web application. This is a crucial first step in ensuring the safety and security of any online platform. But how exactly does this process work? Let's dig a little deeper. WAF detection primarily involves a handful of important techniques. The first of these is HTTP fingerprinting. This is a method where we examine the HTTP responses from a web application to identify unique characteristics or fingerprints that suggest the presence of a WAF. These fingerprints could be anything from specific headers to unique cookies to the order in which headers are presented. Another technique is analyzing response codes. When a web application firewall is present, it may respond to requests in a certain way that is identifiable. For instance, some WAFs might consistently return specific HTTP status codes when faced with certain types of requests. By studying these responses, we can often identify the telltale signs of a WAF. Lastly, we have error messages. When a request is blocked by a WAF, it often generates an error message. These messages can be a dead giveaway that a WAF is in place. For example, a message indicating that a request has been denied due to a security policy is a pretty clear indicator that a WAF is at work. These techniques, when used in combination, can provide a comprehensive picture of whether a web application firewall is present. They offer a way to probe and understand the defenses of a web application, allowing for better planning and more informed decision-making when it comes to cybersecurity. Of course, WAF detection is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Different WAFs may leave different fingerprints, respond with different codes, or generate different error messages. It's a constantly evolving field requiring continuous learning and adaptation. Now that we understand how WAF detection works, let's explore how it can be bypassed. Bypassing a WAF, while challenging, is not impossible with the right techniques. Let's dive right into some common WAF bypass techniques. But remember, we're discussing these not to encourage nefarious actions, but to foster a deeper understanding of cybersecurity. Knowledge is power, and understanding these techniques can help us build stronger, more secure systems. First up is IP fragmentation. This technique involves splitting up a malicious IP packet into smaller fragments to evade detection. WAFs typically examine packets as a whole, so by breaking them up, it becomes more difficult for the firewall to identify malicious content. Next, we have URL obfuscation. This technique involves manipulating the URL to confuse the WAF, allowing the attacker to sneak past. One common method of URL obfuscation is directory traversal, where the attacker uses special sequences in the URL to navigate the file structure behind the web application. Then there's encoding, another popular WAF bypass technique. Encoding involves transforming the data into a different format that the WAF might not recognize, but which the web application can still understand. This can be as simple as changing script into its hexadecimal equivalent, or as complex as using multiple layers of encoding. It's important to note that these techniques aren't foolproof. They often rely on the WAF being poorly configured or not fully understanding the data it's examining. A well-configured WAF, on the other hand, can effectively counter these bypass techniques, highlighting the importance of proper setup and maintenance. And of course, these aren't the only techniques out there. Cybersecurity is a constantly evolving field, and as new defenses are developed, so too are new ways to try and bypass them. That's why it's so important to stay informed and up to date on the latest developments. And there you have it. A quick tour of how to detect and potentially bypass a web application firewall. In this brief journey, we've uncovered the mysteries of WAF detection and bypass techniques. We've explored how WAF detection is crucial in identifying threats and how bypass techniques can be both a boon and a bane, depending on whose hands they're in. These techniques are integral to our evolving landscape of cybersecurity, acting as the shield and sword in this digital battleground. Remember, knowledge is power, but with great power comes great responsibility. Use these techniques responsibly and always strive to improve the world of cybersecurity.